From my experience, I can say, the sound of an FPV drone hovering towards you is one of the most nightmarish things that exist in our universe. One time, the Russians found our hideout, and within 2 hours, we had 28 drones flying at us. I was reminded in this moment of the cinema and airplanes dogfighting right above me. However, the drones were working, theirs and ours. The drones began dropping bombs on everyone, or flying into people. I couldn't tell who was who in the sky. They started hitting the lead vehicles with drones, and we had to get away from the vehicle and continue on foot. I heard at least one FPV fly over me and into my armored car I had just left. The sound of dozens of FPV drones screeching through our hiding place still gives me fits of terror. Sometimes I dream about it. From my experience, I can say, the sound of an FPV drone hovering towards you is one of the most nightmarish things that exist in our universe. One time, the Russians found our hideout in the basement of a destroyed house, and within 2 hours, we had 28 drones flying at us. They tried to break through the entrance to the basement and fly in to destroy everyone hiding inside. We dug up the earth and rocks in the basement, filled bags with them, and covered the entrance as much as possible. All the drones hit the obstacle and detonated at the entrance, but none got in. Everyone hiding in the basement was severely concussed and throwing up. By late afternoon, this had stopped, and we decided to move quickly to another house on the same street. As soon as we got out and started running, a tank and a 120mm mortar started shooting at our route. We miraculously ran into the new basement, but we didn't have any more bags to stuff with anything to make a new barricade. We took whatever junk we could get our hands on and filled the entrance with it. That same night, a new shift came in and they changed us out, and we got out of there. A lot has happened since then, but the sound of dozens of FPV drones screeching through our hiding place still gives me fits of terror. Sometimes I dream about it. Assaults on positions, evacuations, and the daily tasks on the front line are made extremely difficult by the huge numbers of drones in the air on both sides. In one day at the front, I saw over 25 enemy drones of different types while participating in an attack. One of our comrades was wounded in this attack, and he was struck and killed by an FPV while moving to the evacuation point. Him and 2 others. In such an attack, we get as close as we can in or on top of armored vehicles. If we are lucky, we don't get spotted until we are almost at the landing point. In this attack I speak of, we were spotted around 1/3 of a kilometer away from the enemy position. They started hitting the lead vehicles with drones, and we had to get away from the vehicle and continue on foot. I heard at least one FPV fly over me and into my armored car I had just left. When we arrived at the enemy stronghold, I found that it was mostly unoccupied, at least the first trench and dugout. However, the drones were working, theirs and ours. I could hear the buzz above me flying to and fro. I was reminded in this moment of the cinema and airplanes dogfighting right above me. The drones began dropping bombs on everyone, or flying into people. I couldn't tell who was who in the sky, so we began shooting down everything. Possibly theirs, possibly ours. It was very chaotic, and many people were 200 and 300 in the 2 hours it took to move through the dugouts. I saw a lot of courage on our part. The situation was very scary, worrying about bullets and grenades and drones. We were forced to abandon the attack, because the other half of the unit was stopped by the drones and stuck on the road. Hey everyone, Nick here from B&B. If you're looking to sell firearms quickly and for a great price, I've got just the thing for you. Cash for Arms is a high-volume business that buys guns for cash nationwide in the United States. They pay substantially more than your local gun store or pawn shop. They offer two options, a solid cash offer or a consignment auction with rates as low as 12%. Many people go for the cash offer because it's just that good. One of the best parts, Cash for Arms is an FFL, which means they're heavily regulated and providing you with a safe and trustworthy way to sell your firearms. Last year alone, they bought almost 20,000 guns. You can ship your guns directly to them, just like an Amazon return, and get paid the same day they receive them. Payment options include direct deposit or an instant payment with Zelle. It's fast and easy to sell your guns for a fair price nationwide, without driving around and getting lowballed by gun stores. Selling through Cash for Arms is the fastest way to sell guns because they're a dealer. They buy and consign fully automatic and NFA items too. If you have any guns you don't like to shoot anymore or are just looking to upgrade, give Cash for Arms a try. I know the owner personally, and I can vouch for their excellent service and fair prices. Build that trust quickly with their A+ BBB rating and stellar Google profile. Check them out and make your selling experience smooth and profitable. It is possible to have a moral and ethical dilemma with drones. At about 6:30 or 7 a.m. in the winter, one of the last thermal drones from the night shift that was up picked up a heat signature maybe 50 to 100 meters away from one of our positions. A normal Mavic recon drone was guided by the thermal drone to find the heat source. The pilots found an injured soldier laying in the field who was trying to crawl. From our position, we started questioning if it was enemy or friendly. We couldn't distinguish the camouflage pattern on his uniform well enough, but he was so close to our position, we assumed that he was friendly. The commander didn't seem to come to the same conclusion, and he ordered a drone drop on the soldier. As the drone was being loaded and flown out by a recon team, the soldiers in the trench position were calling out to the wounded guy, trying to get communication with him. The loaded drone was overhead of the guy, and they tried to drop, and the dropper failed. So they tried again, and it failed. Then the radio went off with calls that he was a friendly soldier, and not to drop. Which, luckily for him, the thing didn't work. We knew it wasn't right to drop before confirmation, and nobody wanted to listen to us about it. Over the next few hours, we would learn more about the soldier and how he got there, and slowly watch him die, as the soldiers in the front position were too afraid to expose themselves to risk dragging him to safety. I begin training in 3 weeks. I decided to volunteer, and I'm 23 years old. For the last 2 years, I've been following Telegram and Instagram. As soon as I decided to finally volunteer, I thought I was crazy. I had been watching the videos of the war and seeing the consequences of it with my own country. It is very dangerous. But the worst is seeing all the videos of combat, and especially the videos of drones. There are thousands of them. I had a thought. What if I become one of these videos too? It's very hard for me to explain how I feel. Volunteering to fight, and still at the same time, being very scared to participate. I think being around experienced soldiers will help my nerves, but I'm very nervous about the drones. I'm joining as someone completely inexperienced in war. It's in God's hands now. If you found value in that story, please consider subscribing to my Patreon account. I'd love to be able to do war reporting full-time, and that's a great way to help me do it. In addition to that, consider joining my Discord of almost 10,000 members. There, I occasionally do interview live streams, and you'll be able to interact with the soldiers I interview yourself, so you'll be able to ask your own questions and just chat with them. As I always say, every soldier has a story, and every story deserves to be told. Thanks for watching.